So the way that I try to achieve that view of that zoomed out view is I want to make sure that everyone understands the customer. So the first thing I do at any company is I try to make knowing the customer a thing. Okay, similar to your survey around readiness for innovation, I like to have a survey that assesses the entire organization's understanding of the customer and their role in influencing the customer and their experience. So it starts with like, who is our customer, right? I want to see consistent answers that are specific about who is our customer. I want to, when I ask the team, what do you love or hate, or what does the customer love or hate about us? I want to see, again, specific answers, and I want to see them kind of prioritize. Like, I know for a fact this is the #1 thing they love about our business. This is the #1 thing they hate about our business. And then another easy one, when was the last time you spoke with a customer? Right? How many folks in the room have had the opportunity to actually interact directly with a customer recently? So you want to make sure that people are indicating that they've recently spoken with a customer. And then what is your team doing to improve the customer experience? I'm talking metrics here. I'm not talking about philosophical conversations. I'm asking, what have you done to reduce the number of people calling the customer service line? What have you done to improve conversion? What have you done to move the needle on customer satisfaction? And then another very tactical, simple thing, where do you go to learn about customers? They should be able to say the name of the person, the team, that they can go to make sure that they're in the loop, that they know where to go and how to have the opportunity to interact with a customer. And if you end up on that side of the board, you're not doing well. And then if you end up on this side, you're probably in pretty good shape. It probably correlates nicely in some way with what you're talking about on readiness to innovate. Okay. Now, the way that I try to achieve all of this and make sure that we are hitting our goals on answering those key questions and having that really zoomed out view is I try to get the customer in the room. And the reason I do that is because this is where many of us work and spend our time, in a place like this. Disgustingly, that is an actual name of a business park. Okay, and then this is what it looks like, right? We've got our fancy lunchrooms, most likely. Everything's pretty easy. We're all business casual. I don't have a collar, but I could be in that group if I had a collar on my shirt and if my shirt was buttoned all the way up, but it's not. Anyways, so these people probably don't know their customer. No offense to them, but they probably don't. This is where customers live, the people actually using the products and services that we design and build. This is where they live, their home. They're busy. They have families. When I think about customers shopping our website, I think about busy parents that are exhausted, right? Not someone sitting down all excited and happy to take care of a shopping trip, but instead who might be kind of tired and they need to get through it kind of quickly, save some money, they're raising a family, and don't have a lot of time on their hands. So my point here is that these two worlds are not similar. Not at all. They're not congruent. There's no similarity between where products are built and where they are used. And even though you might try to make your office kind of cool and imagine this cool, hip customer that lives in Brooklyn or something, in reality, your customer may not be the person you think it is, which is why it's very important to get them in the room. So again, products are made here, but then they're used here, and you need to understand the difference between your world and their world. Now, one of the things we used to do at Amazon that I really like, it's a really cheap, easy way to get the customer in the room. Whenever we had a meeting, we would always leave one empty seat in that meeting, just a chair. And that chair was meant to represent the customer. So whenever we were having a conversation about some business decision or customer experience decision, we could look over at that chair and say, what would the customer want? We would hold up meetings and go get a chair. Like we'd all pile into a room and be like, all right, let's get started. Someone would say, hey, hold on, I gotta go get a chair. Be like, no, we're good, we're good. grab a chair, bring it in, and have that empty chair in the room. And that makes it a safe, comfortable environment in which you can say, what would the customer want? What's right for the customer? A very simple, tactical thing you can do. So anyways, that's one little tip. Another thing that we do at Jet, and I've done at all the companies that I consider highly successful, go visit your call center, your customer service team. Once a month we go down there, and I, so far on every trip, meet every single one of them in an environment like this. So we have about 400 people at our call center in Salt Lake City, and we go down there and meet with them on a monthly basis to make sure that we're understanding, why are people calling? What can we do to help you better serve the customer on those phone calls? Of course, there's data that I could look at to look at, like call volume by reason code, to quantitatively look at it. But it helps to go down there in person to make sure that I'm getting as close as possible to the customer. Likewise, on that visit, I sit in and listen to phone calls. Back at Amazon, we used to do the same thing, sit in, listen to those phone calls, and in some cases you can also actually just be a call center representative to make sure you really understand what it's like when a customer calls, understand their pain points, understand their delight, understand what it's like to serve them. You can't always go to those call centers. I take a small team, like I said, it's me, but we also take a small team of people to make sure we're getting everybody out there as often as possible. The other thing we do is we actually have calls piped into our offices in Hoboken. And then this is a typical example of us listening to a call. This isn't all of us. We've got a few more people than that in this office. But this is what it looks like when we schedule a time, usually once a month, to listen to actual customer phone calls. The room is packed. It's everything to product managers, business team members, senior leadership, listening to those calls, making changes and decisions in that meeting to improve the product, to likely, address a customer pain point or enhance a moment of delight for customers. Another thing we do at Jet often is field studies. We do these quickly, we do them easily. They're not multi-week long things. They're inexpensive so that we can save time and money. We do them often. Our goal is that every single employee would have the opportunity to participate in one of these, so we're aiming for 100% participation. Back in Seattle, in my previous role, this was a fun place to do this type of research. It's right here. This is my favorite place. That guy right there, the boat. So people are commuting back and forth on these ferries in Seattle through waterways. They're the ferry, and those people are, comfortably sitting there right. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Sounds like I'm cutting out a little. Can you guys hear me? Okay. All right. So, anyways, the opportunity to interview someone here is amazing because they're just kind of casually commuting back and forth. You can plop down right next to them and say, hey, can I interrupt you for a few minutes to get some feedback on an app we're working on or a website that we're building? And it makes for an awesome kind of team event, and that's a great way to get people out in the field. It doesn't require a $100,000 budget and 6 months of planning. It's a thing that you can do every single week with maybe an hour or two of prep time. We go out with a printed field guide so that it doesn't require a researcher. It could be any member of the team interviewing the customer. You bring some gift cards, pay the people right there on the spot with a $10 Starbucks card or Amazon gift card, or maybe someday a jet.com gift card. Keep your sessions really short, just 15 minutes to get some really quick feedback, and don't be creepy. Okay.